Hey, what's up guys? It is Michael Pinetto with Tech Examined, and today we're taking a look at a wireless lav mic system from the folks over at Audio Technica. So, let's get started. So the folks over at Audio Technica were nice enough to send this system out to me. As a matter of fact, they did send two out, and I was going to use them at CES, and I did use it once, but I had a problem with it, but we'll get into that, and it was more of a user error in the settings, but I'll tell you guys about that. So this is the lav version of the System 10. They do have a microphone version, which may or may not be better suited for a live environment like CES to record. But what I saw from this and what we're doing for the testing right now, I was pretty impressed with. But what I want to show you guys is obviously what comes in the box and get into some testing. So this particular wireless system comes with a lav that's going to hook up to an external pack. Now this does have two batteries, AA batteries that go into it, and you actually have a couple different things in here to get it set up. You have a low and high volume on that. Now, for the purposes of what I'm going to show you guys, I turn this all the way down and control everything on my recorder. But again, two AA batteries and a pair button. So we'll get into that in a moment. And on the top here, you actually have a little display screen which tells you the system ID that you're using. And on the top side here, you have your antenna, you have a power button, and then you have the hookup for the lav mic itself. And of course the lav will go into that, and we'll show you that in a minute. This is the portion of the system that sits on your camera, on your stand, wherever it is that you want to have this. But this is what connects wirelessly to what's connected to you. And this is not a battery operated item. This actually does get recharged, and the kit does include a plug and a micro USB. You have your two antennas which actually hook onto here, and for some reason I put those off to the side somewhere, but they will screw onto here. These do come with some plastic protectors when they do ship so the threads don't get damaged. Down here you have a dual mono setting, and it does go to balanced, which is where I had the problem with CES, and you have a -20, -10, and 0 decibel setting. And you have your cable, which is a 3.5 millimeter plug, and that will go to the system itself, whether it's into your camera or into an external recorder. They do include that, and it is a little bit of a shorter cord, so depending on your setup, you may want to go with something a little bit longer or even shorter, depending on, again, how you want to use it and not throw it around. On the other side here, you do have the port for the micro USB plug to charge it. And the charging on this is fairly quick, and it does last a while. I'm pretty impressed with it. You can monitor what you're doing, or the person that's shooting you can monitor, as well as the microphone, the volume for the headphones as you're doing that. Now, on the front here is the star of the show. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on for you real quick, just to give you an idea what it looks like here. You have a peak light, which will tell you if you're going too hot. You have your pair button, which will tell you that everything is paired and ready to go. On the other side here, you have your system ID, which is on the top, and that will tell you the number that you want to be set at, and as well as your pair button that will actually allow you to set up. So it'll tell you that you're paired, but here's the button to initiate it, and you also have your signal strength and everything like that to let you know everything is going well. Again, typically something that you use for the operator, depending on how far away you get from the mic. Now this does shut off after a few seconds, and you do have to reactivate it. So even though I have it facing me while I'm doing this shoot, I can't really see it because it's not on, but I do know that if I am peaking or would be peaking, it is telling me right up there. So that won't be a problem at all. And of course I have my H5 hooked up across so I can see that as well. Now that is that, and we're going to go ahead and turn this off. And if you do like to mount this to the top of your camera, they do have this cold shoe here, which will slide easily onto the bottom of the wireless portion here, and you can just screw that down onto your camera and you're good to go. So that's pretty much the system. Now for the lav itself, it's a very basic lav. It has a one-sided microphone on it, and it also does come with this handy-dandy clip, and they do come with a couple little screen windshield windscreen protectors that you can stick on there. Now the nice thing about this is once you hook this up, there is really only one way to hook it up, and once you are set, it will basically allow you to push it in. When you're not set, you can't push it down at all, but when it's lined up, it actually snaps into place, and it doesn't come off until you actually pull this silver portion off, and will allow it to disconnect. So if you have this attached to you and you may tug on the wire a little bit, it's not going to disconnect and in turn lose everything that you thought you were recording if you weren't looking at your audio levels. During this whole introduction, I have been using the other System 10 wireless, and I do have it all set up. I do want to do a comparison between this, the H5 with a couple of the adapters that I have, as well as the H1. So right now I have the computer going on in the background, and I am using the Audio Technica Lav. Now, typically when you're in a setting where you have a conference or whatever outside with wind, you're going to have some ambient noise. Now, I do have this turned up a little bit louder than normal, but I wanted to really get an idea of and show you exactly how it's going to be, kind of in a little bit more extreme setting as far as that goes. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and I want to show you guys what it's like maybe if we switch over to the Zoom H1, which again, I'm very impressed with, and I'll be able to determine, you know, if this is any better and give me an idea really of how it's going to work. So let's go ahead and switch over to the H1 right now. And I'm using this right now for the Zoom H1, and I have this in front of me typically how I would be interviewing. Again, I'd have it, you know, about the range that you like to do when you're interviewing and talking to somebody. So this is playing with the ambient noise in the background. Now, you guys have seen me use this plenty of times in different settings and whatnot, so you get an idea of how it's working out compared to the lav mic here. So let's switch back over to the lav mic right now, and you get an idea of how those sound. Now, I do have the XY as well as the shotgun over there. I'm going to hook them both up, and we'll see exactly how they do with stuff going on. So with the ambient noise going on in the background, I've got the XY hooked up to the H5 right now, and that is probably 2 lengths to my face on that, and that's how I always do it with that. So there is a good example of how this works with stuff going on in the background. Now, this is the shotgun mount that I got from Mr. Dickerson, Geeky Nerd Dad, and I'm pretty impressed with this. So we're going to throw that on there and give you guys a shot of it with noise going on in the background. Alright, so this is a test of the shotgun on the H5 compared to the other ones. Now, what I want to do is just kind of go back and listen to this and give you guys my overall impressions of this and see exactly how these perform with something going on in the background, similar to, well, somewhat similar to what you're going to get at a show if you're trying to interview somebody. You know what, real quick, there is one more test that I did want to conduct with this, and that's taking the Audio Technica system and plugging it right into the internals of the GH4, which has its own audio processing. Now, I'm going to jump right out of this and go in and check it. I've got all the results for everything else, so we're just going to go ahead and have me ramble on a little bit more to get a little bit more audio so I can test it out to see the differences between plugging into the GH4 and going into the H5 recorder. Alright guys, so the results are in as far as my opinion on these, and I do have my notes written down here. Now, obviously I threw that last test on there to throw into the GH4, and it sounded okay. I felt like there was a little bit of a hiss going on in the background. Now, I'm sure if I mess with the settings, I could probably get that to sound a lot better. So that is something to actually consider with using this unit. And like I said, if I mess around with it, I can get it sounding a lot better than it does. But at the first glance, I'd have to say that I'm extremely impressed with the Audio Technica, just as far as the overall ambient noise. I didn't realize it would be that nice as far as everything going on in the background. Now, of course, you're paying $450, and the plug-and-play simplicity of going into the H5 at additional $269 or $259, whatever the cost is for that, you're dumping out some bucks for some clean audio. Not to say that you're not getting what you pay for, but, you know, if you're in the market for that, it's perfect. But, man, let me tell you, the H1 for $99, or sometimes you see it for $70, just out of the park, absolutely incredible. You can mess with the audio a little bit. It's a little bit less bass than you get with the System 10, but it's an all-around beautiful microphone when you want to use it in loud areas. I'm thoroughly impressed with it. Again, $99 right now. You definitely can't go wrong. Now, the shotgun in conjunction with the H5, in my opinion, worked really well. I still think it was third in line as far as the ones that we tested, only because it had low ambient, and what I mean by low ambient is the unit was picking up a little bit more stuff in the background. If it's possible, less bass than the H1, I think. I may have been hearing that a little bit differently. I had my headphones on when I was listening to it. A little bit tinny. I felt like it was just a lot more tight on the H1, and you could feel it. And, of course, the Audio-Technica, in my opinion, is just, worlds better than that. And, of course, at the bottom of the list was the XY as far as during the ambient portion of it. It's great when I have it here and it's quiet in here. The same thing goes with the shotgun. They work awesome. They're great when you have a perfect environment, and but we wanted to kind of see what it would do in a loud area, and the XY failed miserably, in my opinion. It picked up everything, but that's what it's for. It's supposed to pick up everything around you. So if you're doing something, you got a noise coming from what you want that's on there on your phone or device, it works out perfect. So clear winner. Again, the Audio-Technica, absolutely awesome. You got a wireless system. Keep in mind that you're transmitting this sound to that, and you get that quality. I don't think you can go wrong with that. If you're looking to spend some money on a quality item, and of course, if you want to save some money and you're just getting started, I always say the H1, you cannot go wrong. Now, keep in mind that shotgun attachment, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, I'll put the link down below, over an additional $100, I think, maybe even $150. You might find it in that range. So you're talking $2-something for the H5 plus another $100. So, again, H1, if you really want to save the money, and if you really want to go all out and you're doing that, hooking up the Audio-Technica to the Lumix, the GH4, I think I could work out that hiss and get it a little bit better. But comment down below, tell me what you think, and we'll get a discussion started. If you like this video, please feel free to smack that thumbs up button. Your support's greatly appreciated. And of course, to check out my next videos, hit the subscribe button. Besides that, I want to thank you all for joining me. Thank you for the continued support. I think we're at 34.9, I think, getting up there. So thank you guys very much, and I'll see yous in the next video.